I had always dreamed of the perfect honeymoon, a tropical getaway with my new husband, exploring new places, relaxing on the beach, and starting our married life on a high note. But what I didn't expect was that my honeymoon would turn into the most painful experience of my life. My husband, Mark, and I had been together for 5 years before we decided to get married. We had a beautiful wedding ceremony, surrounded by family and friends who all celebrated our love. Mark was the man I thought I would spend the rest of my life with. He was charming, thoughtful, and always made me feel special. At least, that's what I thought. It all started the first night of our honeymoon in Bali. Mark was acting strangely. He was distant and seemed preoccupied, but I chalked it up to travel exhaustion. But then, he started taking phone calls in private, and when I asked who it was, he would quickly change the subject or say it was work-related. The next day, we went on a snorkeling trip. I noticed Mark was texting furiously on his phone, sneaking it under the table while we were having lunch. When I asked him if everything was okay, he gave me a vague answer and changed the topic. I tried to brush it off, but something didn't feel right. Later that afternoon, while Mark was taking a nap, I used his phone to check the pictures I had taken earlier that day. While going through his photo album, I stumbled upon a set of pictures I wasn't expecting to see, photos of Mark with a woman I didn't recognize. They were taken just a few weeks before our wedding, and they were clearly more than friendly. I froze. The woman in the pictures was smiling at Mark, and he was holding her close, the way a man holds a woman he's in love with. I didn't know her, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. Mark had been seeing someone else. I tried to keep my composure. I didn't want to believe it, but the evidence was right in front of me. I confronted Mark as soon as he woke up. At first, he denied everything. "It's nothing," he said, brushing it off. "She's just a friend from work." But when I showed him the pictures, he went pale. His excuses crumbled, and he admitted he had been seeing her for months. He said it was nothing serious, that it was just a fling that started before our wedding, but he promised he would end it. I was devastated. My honeymoon, meant to be the start of our life together, had turned into a nightmare. I spent the next few days in a daze, trying to come to terms with what I had learned. Mark begged for forgiveness, but the trust had been shattered beyond repair. We returned home early from our honeymoon, and I filed for divorce within a week. He begged me to give him another chance, but how could I ever trust him again? How could I live with the man who had deceived me on what was supposed to be the happiest time of my life? It took me months to heal from that betrayal. I couldn't even look at a wedding photo without feeling nauseous, but eventually, I found the strength to move on. Now, looking back, I see how lucky I am. It was painful, yes, but that honeymoon disaster saved me from a life of lies and dishonesty. Mark was never the man I thought he was, and I'm grateful I found out before I invested even more years of my life with him.